What's up, guys? What's up? Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Insigne, Osimhen, and Matteo Politano. Popo, Matteo Politano. Guys, Politano, what a strike. Insigne, what a strike. Osimhen, what a strike. Napoli win this game 3-0. Seemed like it was going nowhere for 70 minutes, and then boom, the changes came on, the subs came on, and Spalletti got them all right. Insigne, who was already on the field, was instrumental in so many of those goals, but so was Politano, so was Osimhen. Those were two players that came on for Napoli, and that's what made us win the game, guys. So, welcome to the chat, everyone. There's a lot of you in the chat. Let's see some of the comments. Lawrence Moore is saying, "Hey Dom, seeming chirpy today, mate." Yes, I am chirpy today. How could I not be chirpy with Matteo Politano's song stuck in my head? We are inevitable, says Vincenzo Bertillo. Blue Line saying, "I've seen so many good things from the team dealing with the match, attack until you break the opponent's defense." Maximus is saying, "Where's Daniel Balls of Steel Bowen, who wears Napoli gear away to Florence?" Yeah, man, Daniel Bowen is intense. He goes to like almost all Napoli games. But I wouldn't want to mess with Daniel. He seems like he could take anybody on. Daniel Lafontaine says, "Yes, I want to see all the talkers about, all the badmouth talkers about Insigne last week." Tolea Foa saying, "When Osimhen leaves for AFCON, Mertens should be our striker. I don't trust Petagna at all at this point. At least Mertens can play." Yeah, I mean, that's clearly going to be the plan, with Mertens being the number one option. I mean, Mertens is still Napoli's top goal scorer of all time, and he showed in the past few games that he's getting back to his full fitness. Awesome Comedy is saying, "Osimhen is on form." Guys, Osimhen is crazy right now. I think this is now 4 goals in the Europa League, another 5 in the league, 9 goals from Osimhen, and it's not even... Is it the middle of October? Yeah, 21st of October, but I mean, some strikers get that in a full season, and we're in October, so it's actually crazy. Maximus is saying, "Can you imagine if Insigne actually goes to Inter?" Guys, Insigne, before he even considers Inter, it will have to be that Napoli categorically said, "We're not signing a deal." I don't think Insigne is having any sort of conversation with any other club. I think the priority is 100% to renew with Napoli. Napoli wants to renew Insigne. They just need to come to some sort of agreement, and I'm sure that they'll meet halfway, especially if Napoli continues to do so well. We can basically almost guarantee Champions League football with a few more wins, and we're only in October. So, yeah, I don't believe that he's even considering Inter. It could happen down the line, but right now he's not considering it, is my opinion. Dominic is saying, "Had a few pints, maybe." No, haven't had a few pints. Just feeling chirpy for the win, man, because it's been extremely hard fought, today's win. And I thought, I really care about the Europa League because I think it's the only European trophy that realistically Napoli could win. I don't think this team could go and win the Champions League against the likes of Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and Liverpool and PSG. I don't think we're at that level yet. So I think the Europa League is really the only European competition that we could realistically win. And so I really care about this tournament. So yeah, that's why I'm super excited about it. Let's see some other comments. EJ Wise is saying, "Politano off the bench is just a different breed of player." Look, it's so funny because we always have this debate, Politano or Lozano, and honestly, guys, I mean, I keep saying it, I don't have a preference. I mean, today Politano was on fire off the bench. Lozano did pretty good as well. He had a lot of chances, created a lot of chances, pressed really well. And I'm sure the opposite would have happened as well. If Politano started, then Lozano would have come on well. And I just think that each player can provide something that the other doesn't. And it makes defenses go crazy. So whenever people are talking about, oh, I prefer Lozano, I prefer Politano, it's just, we can have both. Spalletti talks about this all the time, guys. There are starters that start the game, and there are starters that come on the 60th minute. He considers both of them starters. I mean, all 15 players that, Napoli, or 16 players that Napoli put on the field today, Spalletti considers them pretty much all starters. I mean, some more than others, but he's not, he said in the press conference, for example, they talked about turnover in the press conference with Spalletti before the game, and they said, oh, are you going to do a turnover? And Spalletti had a really interesting reply, and he's saying, for me, it's disrespectful talking about turnover, because for me, these are all starting players. Instead, let's think about passare turno, which is in Neapolitan, let's pass the group, no? So instead of turnover, let's pass the group. And if you want to pass the group, you're not going to play your B team. If you want to pass the group, if you want to pass the group, you got to play what you consider an A team. So for us, it seems like they're subs, but for Spalletti, they're all part of the A team. So, wow, EJ Wise with the amazing donation. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. Hope you're doing well. He says, I hope you're all remembering to smash that like. Oh, man. Not only is he donating to the channel, which I super appreciate, but he's also reminding me to tell you guys to like the channel. Honestly, thanks, man. Also, Petagna gets beefier each time I see him. Guys, talking about Petagna, let's go. I need to show you guys this. Hold up. Because this is pretty funny. But, so if we go to the timeline here, all right. Check this out, guys. Check this out. What is that photo of Petagna there? That is not Petagna. What? What? That's not Petagna, man. There's no way that photo is Petagna. They got the wrong guy. Did Petagna ever have that kind of hair? I don't remember that at all. So yeah, when I saw this, I was dying. So yeah, I mean, now that we're here, we might as well look at some of the stats of the game. And we're gonna do things in a bit of a random order, but yeah, let's look at the stats, guys. So 28 shots and against 9, so lots of different opportunities. A couple on target. Legia 0 on target. They did hit the post 0 time. Oh, they hit the post once, even though they've got 0 shots on target, and they were pretty dangerous. I mean, they were pretty wasteful with their chances. I mean, for both of our first 2 goals, they started off with basically Legia having the first opportunity, and then we basically counter and score, or maybe a minute later we go and score. So let's see what some of the people are saying. AMS is saying that's Petagna before AMS. Oh man. Oh man, I'm dying. I can't stop thinking about that. Let's go back to that Petagna thing, man. That's so funny. I can't. What is Victor Osimhen doing there? That's not Victor Osimhen either. What is going on with Google? What? Guys, am I seeing this correct? That's not Victor. Bruh. Who is... Oh man, that's not Victor, man. Who is that? Anyways. Yeah, that's Petagna. Anyways, Google has got to work on these, man. He can't be using that picture for Victor. Anyways, so stats. Let's go back to the stats, guys. Man, I'm cracking up today. I'm cracking up. Look, we had a lot of possession. 71%. Yeah, 71% possession. We had 89% pass accuracy, which for me is, I think, too high. So I say it all the time. For me, the ideal pass accuracy is around 84, 85%. If you're at 89, it means that you're passing the ball around a bit too much. And that's why it's easy to get your accuracy high, because you're not really doing anything to try to break down defenses. Even though it's kind of weird, because I felt like Napoli did do that. Even though it felt like Napoli did try to break down Legia. But hey, who knows? But the crazy thing is these 18 corners. I've never seen 18 corners for one team in a game. So, and for all 18 corners, we didn't do much, which is a bit surprising, because Napoli was starting to do really well at set pieces. So that is the match stats. Let's see some of the comments that you guys are saying, because there's quite a few. So let me read out some of the comments. ID Beats let's start with EJ Wise. Let's say he says Legia played a way to infuriate us and to leave almost every other player of theirs in and around the edge of the box. We were unlucky with Mertens and Lozano, but Osimhen shows how crucial he is. Yeah, and we'll see exactly how Legia played, which frustrated us so much. So I'll start the match analysis in just a bit. I just want to read a few more comments. Daniel Bowen, thank you so much for your donation with the 10 euros. Thank you, man, for supporting the channel. King Dom, man, too kind. How did you feel about Chucky today? He looked pretty engaged. I thought Chucky was on it. I thought he was pressing really well, and he had a few chances. And honestly, the keeper did really well to keep him out once or twice. So I feel like Chucky did a good job. And the only reason why, I'm saying Politano did great is because, well, he scored a goal. So, we've got to consider that as well. But, I don't think that one has to do well for the other to do bad, or vice versa, or one has to do bad if the other did well. They both played really good games, is my opinion. And I think that for Roma, it's going to be very tough to decide which one of the two to start with. Anthony Giampaolo is in the chat as well, saying, once Osimhen came on, I knew it was a wrap for them. It's a wrap when Osimhen comes on, man. He is inevitable, Osimhen. He makes such a difference with his athletic ability and size. When he's not there, I think we're just a little too small up front. I think what he does is that he brings, as you said, that athletic ability, that speed. He stretches defenses out, and then it's so good for the remaining players on the team to come in behind after him and pick up any loose balls, or support him in that way once that defense has been stretched. Because what we were missing in the first half especially was that we weren't stretching them enough. Let's see. Anthony says, Petagna looked alright, pretty good. I wish he scored. He needs to build confidence. I can tell that he is scared. I thought Petagna was alright. I thought he tried a few different chances, and I think that shows that he was wanting to do quite well and showed a bit of confidence, to be honest. Taking on a long-range left-foot shot wasn't too far off. I do want to start the match analysis, guys, because and as Visavius is saying, don't forget to vote on the goal to put in the animated Discord icon in the match thread. Yeah, guys, there's a lot of new subscribers to this channel, and what you guys should know is that if you click down below in my description, I always leave the link to the Discord channel, where a lot of the guys that are on this chat talking constantly about Napoli are on that Discord. It's a Napoli Discord. I'm not in charge of that, and I'm very rarely on there, but every once in a while I do pop in and see what's up. It's a very nice place to be, and they're great guys in there, so do check it out if you are obsessed with Napoli and want to have conversations about all things Napoli. at all times. I just don't have personally the time to always be there, but I will try to pop in, I think, a bit more often. So I will go straight to the match analysis, guys. So I'm going to start in a bit of a weird order because I want to highlight the difficulties first that Napoli had, and then we're going to go back into a more chronological order of events. So let's go to the match analysis, everyone, because I know you guys love this stuff. So here's what I think made it so difficult for Napoli today. There's a few things, and I think that number one was this number 17 player was in such an interesting position all game. So most teams, right, they play an offside line, and then it's very simple for a team like Napoli that is dynamic, fast, to take advantage of that offside line. For example, you see here, Politano has the ball, and Di Lorenzo is making a run, right? A cross-field run. Now, normally, if that number 17 player is not in that position, when Di Lorenzo makes that run, then he gets to the ball and he can square it straight to Osimhen, who comes in and gains speed on the defenders that are right in front of him, and then he can tap it in. But because that number 17 is there, he is immediately going to block off any pass towards either Di Lorenzo, or if it does reach Di Lorenzo, he's going to be right on Di Lorenzo, right in front of him. And so it became very difficult for Napoli to do that pullback that we normally always do. And it became difficult for us to stretch Legia because they weren't trying to play an offside. So this was something that we saw throughout the game. We see it here. We see another opportunity in other areas there. And, you know, that guy is also there to pick up any scrap that might be any loose balls. That number 17 guy for Legia, he's there to just observe where the ball is and go after it. He's not man marking anyone. So yeah. And then we see that here as well, with, you know, that number 17 player not playing the offside. He's basically trying to cover off any diagonal pass that might go, you know, in towards the goal by Napoli. So that made it very difficult for us. We also had a situation in the first half, especially, where Elmas was super hidden throughout the game. They were very good at blocking off, and it's not Elmas' fault because Elmas was moving around a lot. So it's not that he was static and constantly hidden. No, he would move around different area of the field, but Legia were very good at understanding where his position was and always having a man or two there to block him. So we see it. So look at this passage of play. It's 34 minutes, 18 seconds, and Elmas is hidden. 5 seconds later, Elmas moves to a different position. Elmas is still hidden. 5 seconds later, Elmas moves to a different position. Elmas is still hidden. They were very good at blocking off any passes towards Elmas. And Elmas was playing in that position where you link up the midfield to the attack, right? He's that guy that's supposed to do that. So when Legia were blocking that passage, that line of passage, it made it extremely difficult for Napoli to go vertical. We were forced to go sideways all the time. So you see here Koulibaly having to go to Di Lorenzo or having to go to Juan Jesus instead of cutting the ball straight through like we've seen Napoli do other times. So those two aspects of Legia's game, blocking Elmas and having that number 17, as IDB is saying, a bit of a sweeper, that really, really frustrated Napoli at the start. Let's see some of the comments before I go on to, you know, maybe what Napoli did a bit better. Guys, by the way, if you are liking this analysis, then do smash that like button. Do subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps this get seen by other Napoli fans, build the community, and also I do donate to charity for every like and new subscriber that I do get to the Fondazione Ciro Ferrara and Fabio Cannavaro that do help kids in Naples in needs. They for example, build They provide ambulances for newborn babies and stuff like that. So yeah, do help out if you can, and I'll try to help back the Napoli community in my own way. So I'll see some of the comments. AJ Wise is saying Elmas hasn't had too many starts, but he's looking better with each start, in my opinion. Yeah, he's looking dynamic. And as I'm saying, he's not necessarily at fault here for being hidden, because as we saw, he was moving around quite a bit. He was trying to find the space. It was just Legia were very good at blocking that. No offense to Legia, but we shouldn't have been subbing in our main starters against them, at least I think, says Anthony. Again, let's try to get into that mindset that we don't have main starters and B starters. I do think that we should be thinking of Napoli as having a team of 15, 16 starters, and we can easily rotate them in and out. I know that we have, a starting 11 that we would take to a final, for example, but honestly, Demme, for example, can you really say he's not a starter? Where would you normally put him? Instead of Fabian, instead of Anguissa, are you going to really take off Fabian or Anguissa? But are you really going to take off Demme? So what do you do in that situation? We've got 3 players for 2 positions. So for me, I personally don't think Napoli has very clear-cut starters. I do think that we have a team that we can rotate around. Politano and Lozano is another great example. If Manolas was more in form, Manolas Rahmani would be another example. When Gulam comes back from injury, Gulam Mario Rui will be another example. So there's so many things going on. Then we've got Zielinski, Mertens, Elmas in that number 10 position that they could try to, it's like who is a starter for Napoli? Who is a starter? It's very difficult to say. If everybody was on the peak of their form, who would actually start? I wouldn't know, honestly. Dave FC saying, hey man, just subscribe. Dave, thanks for the love, man. Welcome to the channel. Victor Sani saying, if I remember, Torino also had a similar game plan with sweeper behind the defense line to clean up. It is a strategy intended to stop the fast wing like attackers from getting through balls. Exactly, Victor. That is exactly what teams are starting to learn against Napoli. So Napoli need to do something a bit different, in my opinion, because that's something that I think a few of us have now picked up on. Then there was this other situation here, right, where Juan Jesus, I felt like at the start he was a bit timid. He didn't maybe go forward as much as we would have hoped. So obviously this is not his ideal position. He is a center back playing as left back, but I wish that in this situation, instead of passing back to Koulibaly, I think he had 2 real options. One was to just go down the flank. Go down the flank. There's plenty of space. And number 2, I think there could have been a pass being made to Mertens over there. For some reason, Mertens was, though, telling Juan Jesus not to do that pass and to pass it to Koulibaly. He's pointing towards Koulibaly, and I'm just thinking, why? Because if Mertens receives the ball there, I think he can very easily turn. He's got enough space to very easily turn. And then, you've got Insigne that could make a run in front of you. You've got other players. Politano's probably waiting on the other flank for a nice ball as well. So I found that passage of play a bit strange. But again, it goes back to Napoli in the first half was not really finding their feet at all. So yeah, but that got better in the second half. Daniel Bone saying we got a Victor in the house. Yeah, exactly. We got Victor Sani in the house. So yeah, I mean, I think you might be from, I don't want to get this wrong, but let me know, guys, if you are from Nigeria, because I'm curious to see how many Nigerian fans Napoli has been able to gather over the last few weeks that Osimhen has been doing really well. And I am planning to do a special video dedicated exclusively to Nigeria. Not really having to do with Napoli as such, but actually a lot with Nigeria. Because I do feel like there's a lot of new Nigerian fans to the channel, and I want to sort of engage with that a bit more. And I have a special guest that I want to bring onto the channel, my first ever guest on the channel. So it's gonna be good. But yeah, when that happens, that happens. I don't wanna talk too much about it. So yeah, Dave FC is saying, I honestly never want to see Politano and Insigne play together. You can't have two selfish players in the team at the same time. Who's going to create for the striker then? Man, but Politano assisted Insigne for the goal. They're not, I wouldn't say they're both selfish. They're obviously Insigne assisted Osimhen, so I don't necessarily agree with that. I do think that they tend to shoot and dribble quite often, but that's just in the nature. That's every type of skillful attacking player would do something similar. So yeah. So wow, a lot of Nigerians are turning up in the chat. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I think you're gonna like the video that I'm planning to do in a few days, maybe start of November, end of October. We'll see when I get a chance to do that video, but I am hyped for it, and I hope you guys are too. Let's see some other comments. Yeah. Did Mertens ever play traditional number? Ooh, I missed. My chat just jumped on my screen, so I missed that comment from ID Beats. I was reading a comment from ID Beats and it went away. ID Beats was saying we should try Manolas in for Koulibaly when Koulibaly needs a rest. I think Manolas would be better suited to Ramani, and KK doesn't play 3 games a week. Potentially. I mean, we did have Rahmani and Manolas last year a few times. It wasn't amazing, but not horrible either. I just think that in defense, let's not change it because we're getting clean sheets. So yes, Koulibaly needs a rest. Let's give him a rest when when we start conceding. I would say like don't fix a toy that's not broken is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, but I do think that maybe if Napoli are potentially winning 2 or 3-0 at the end of some games, give Koulibaly a 20-minute rest. Why not? Anyways, let's continue with the analysis, but make sure you are smashing that like button if you are enjoying the video and subscribing. So going back to the start of the game, chronological order from now on, we had this moment here with Meret, and yeah, I mean, the ball's coming at him. It's a bit of an awkward bounce on his weaker left foot, but the way he slices this is worrying. Because if this was 10 meters behind him, that could have been an own goal. Or 15 meters behind him, that could have been an own goal. That ball could have gone absolutely anywhere. And honestly, we need goalkeepers that are able to play to a minimum level of football. I mean, I understand they're goalkeepers. They don't have to be, Lionel Messi with their left foot. But come on, man. Come on. You're at the highest level. You can't mess that up. Not on the 3rd minute. So, yeah, that would not have done Meret any good in terms of is he going to play instead of Ospina. I do think that Ospina is now the starter because Meret can't be pulling stuff like that and thinking that he's going to start, even though it's got nothing to do with his goalkeeping abilities. But, it's worrying when a goalkeeper does that. Then we did have a few chances, and I mean, the Spartak defense was kind of all over the place. So that number 17, he's not always, we talked about it a bit earlier, he's not always further down the line if there's no real need to. Because in this case, there's no central player in the box, and, they're quite high up. It's only when the ball is further up that the guy shifts down. But I mean, the other guy, the number 22 for Spartak at the bottom of the screen, he's not looking at where Lozano is, has no clue where Lozano's going to make a run. He's so far away, and Mertens picks out Lozano, who makes a good run, and then Lozano, but before Lozano, heads the ball to the keeper, and to be fair, there's a good header. Just look at how badly positioned that defense is. They've got like 4 guys on Anguissa, and instead of like scaling back to cover the run by Lozano. So very average team defensively, honestly. Lozano had this opportunity, and to be fair, it was a good header, but difficult header. You can see here how he's on the jump, and difficult technique to get it on target. So good for him, actually. Then we had this shot with Mertens, which the goalkeeper saved. Good shot, and you could tell that Mertens was, having a decent game. And then we had, situations where we were trying to break through into the box, and like Legia had so many players, and we were trying these 1-2s, but we were forcing it slightly. Like the players were, like Elmas here, I feel like when he received it, I feel like he should have known that there's no one behind him, and that way he could turn and shoot. So a bit of situational awareness was missing, and I think if we had Mertens in that position, it could have ended a bit differently. I want to go into the chat right now because there's a bit of comments going on. These really long passages. So let me see what the chat is saying before I continue. So Daniel Lafontaine is saying, I agree, Ospina's a better player. Tony Ajiro saying, do you know Osimhen scored 10 goals in the Under-17 World Cup? Yeah, that's when, I think, so he scored those 10 goals in the Under-17. I don't know if it was 10, but yeah, he did. He was top scorer in the Under-17 World Cup. And then he went to Wolfsburg because of that. So, but yeah, I did know about that he had a crazy Under-17 World Cup. And I think Napoli said that our sporting director was following him since that World Cup. So since 4 years ago, pretty much, Napoli was keeping an eye on Osimhen. Wow, Daniel Bowen with the donation again. Man, thank you. I can't believe how generous you are in supporting the channel, man. Honestly, it's crazy. One more, my man. How do you feel about the new Sindaco, which means mayor, concerning stadium upgrades? So, guys, the new mayor of Naples, like that was voted in last week, 2 weeks ago. He's a Juventus fan, but he did say, so that's, I don't know how that's gonna, if that's gonna be any good for Napoli, but he did say that he is planning to do some development work around the stadium. And I mean, I know that a lot of you haven't been to Napoli, haven't been to Naples, but I mean, the area around the stadium, that whole piazza, there's so much space. There's so much space that Napoli could, the city and the club need to transform that into an area that makes money every day. Like, they need to have like parking there. They need to put in a really big Napoli store. They need to put in a museum. They need to put in, they need to do stuff that we see in Premier League clubs like Arsenal, Tottenham, build stuff around the stadium. The stadium, guys, areas around the stadium need to be areas that are used 24/7, not just for 2 hours a week when there's a football game. It's so much land that is just sitting there for 6 days a week, and half the day of when there's a game doing nothing for you. Instead, we need to make sure that as a club and as a city, we take that land and we transform it into something that is generating money for the club and the city constantly, as Premier League clubs do. That's partly why some of them are so rich, because they use all these things. It's not just about TV rights. But yeah, let's see how that goes. I shall inform myself a bit more about the mayor of Naples and his intentions for the stadium, and get back to you maybe with a whole video about it soon. let's see. Michael Simi is saying, who do you think is the best player ever? Obviously, Diego. Dave FC. No, let me first read T Toleao Foa. I'm sorry if I'm getting your names wrong. I'm trying. Saying, I have watched Politano for ages. He's not Greenwood. He will create opportunities and try to shoot on goal. He's not that bad. Yeah, I agree. I think he's a decent player. I like Politano. I like them all, to be honest. They're different, him and Lozano. And depending on the team that you have in front, it works differently. And we had different chances. Again, here, Lozano, for example, passing it to Mertens. Mertens then with a shot that goes just wide. I mean, Mertens was so close to scoring today. And then again here, Lozano with that pressing, getting the ball, sending it over to Mertens. And then Mertens, instead of, he kind of gets the ball stuck in between his feet. The ball is a bit maybe too on him. And so instead of taking the shot, he has to take a touch. But then that gets blocked by the Legia player. But then Lozano had this chance, and I feel like this was a great save by the goalkeeper. A very good save. So, Lozano was lively. I think Politano did great, but Lozano was good as well. And then in the second half, Legia started sitting so deep. We had a few chances from outside the box with that Demme shot, which was so close to going in with the outside of his right foot. It just curled away from the goal at the last minute. Unlucky from Demme. And then I feel like, Insigne here made maybe the wrong decision. I feel like he could have passed it back to Fabian, or he could have gone straight to Elmas. And that's because we have that 17 player from Legia Warsaw not caring about the offside. And I feel like Napoli should have done more to make use of, hey, we've got an extra 3 meters that we can actually pass the ball into. Like Mertens as well, he's hiding behind a player directly behind him. He could be further out. Even the players on the far post could be further out. But instead, Insigne tries a bit of a difficult pass to Mertens. I feel he had better options. Then the moment that the minute that changed the game, Legia have this break and they hit the post with a pretty good shot. And then basically Napoli counter. And Matteo Politano swings it in for Insigne, and Insigne on the half volley scores. And this is a tough goal to score. This is up there with one of the best goals, guys. I mean, swinging your foot around like that when the ball was coming in at a certain curvature. So Insigne had to time that so well because the ball's spinning. It's coming kind of from behind him, and it's on the bounce. The technique that the skill level that is needed to pull that off is Insigne is the only player on that field that could have done that. Maybe Mertens as well. But it's a very high-class goal, that one. It's very high-class. Dave FC and T Toleo Foa are having this. They're having this back and forth, man. I love it. Guys, it's just opinions, okay? I mean, sometimes Politano's a bit selfish. Sometimes Chucky can be selfish. Sometimes Insigne can be selfish. But many times they're not. It just depends, guys. At the end of the day, they all want to score a goal every once in a while. And they have their moments. But I think generally they pass. I think we're a team that passes the ball enough to each other. I mean, we create so many chances. So, yeah, I don't think we really have that issue necessarily. But yeah, guys, stop roasting Dave. Come on, man. The guy just subscribed to the channel and you guys are roasting him. Guys. And then there's this disallowed goal by Osimhen, which was absolutely unreal. The ball's coming in from over him, yeah, and he lets it bounce, and I'm thinking, ooh, because he didn't control that, so he lets it bounce, and then he has the audacity to lob the keeper, and guys, the keeper's not even out of his 6-yard box. It's not like the keeper. Usually, when a player attempts that, you've got like the player here and the keeper rushing forward, and he's there, and then the goal's like here, right? So then you go, I'm getting the camera angles all wrong, but you get what I mean, right? The keeper's much closer, and there's a lot more gap to the goal. Here, Osimhen is, what's he doing? And yet somehow he manages to score. So he hits the post. It bounces off. I mean, this is a crazy loop. Hits the post, hits the keeper, and the keeper puts it in the back of his net. Unfortunately, he's like miles offside, so it doesn't count. But that was, the audacity to try that. Only Osimhen right now, with his confidence, would be able to try something like that. And then we talk about Osimhen and how diverse he's becoming. We saw, guys, this season, we saw Osimhen with crazy headers, going to the sky and scoring. We saw that he almost scored a bicycle kick against Fiorentina. We saw that he scored goals where he took the ball from midfield and ran straight to score a goal. We saw that he can potentially lob goalkeepers, but it was ruled offside. And then we have this goal here, which is from the right wing, which is not a position that Osimhen usually takes up. Osimhen is very central, but he's showing that he can take that right position. And Insigne with a beautiful pass. Millimeter perfect pass. Look at that offside. It's perfect. Insigne with a beautiful pass, and Osimhen is so good here. You can see from his body shape that he's opened up his body. Okay, he's opened up his body and he's curling that into the front post because he sees the position of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is very clearly blocking the cross shot to the second post, the one that goes diagonal, and he's leaving the front post wide open. But it's such a difficult shot to do because he still has to curl it very well, and he does that. And Osimhen is reaching levels that players like Haaland and Mbappe need to watch out, because Osimhen is reaching those levels, man. So yeah, it's actually crazy what this kid can do. Absolutely crazy. Let's see. Osimhen's got balls. Yeah, that's true. Dave talking about Cavani. You know how we love Cavani in Napoli, man. We love that. Uche Prince is saying Osimhen and Insigne have a good partnership. It will be key to the title charge. That's a good point. And you can see that not only with the way that they play with each other. For example, I remember that goal that I saw in person against Leicester City with that link up that they had. Perfect. And we saw that again now. But also when they celebrate, they're always the ones celebrating together. They've got this incredible bromance going on, which is fantastic to see. And then we have Politano, which came on and got a shot that was so close to going in with his right foot. And then we were winning 2-0, but I felt like we weren't really in control of the game necessarily. I wanted a bit more control. Like, we were still getting counterattacked in the 86th minute when we are winning 2-0. There's no need for that to happen. We need to be tighter and not allow teams to potentially score, because if Legia scored here, it would have been 2-1 and it would have been a crazy last 5 minutes. absolutely crazy, but luckily they didn't score. But against a better team, we need to be careful about that. We can't have these huge gaps between the midfield and defense when we're winning games. We need to control that a bit better. But then, what I like about this team is the fire that they have, because we're winning 2-0. There's 1 minute left. The game's done at this point, right? But no, Elmas recovers a ball that he lost. So he was on the left wing, tried a few tricks, lost the ball, sprinted back, recovered it himself, which is the number one rule in football, which is when you lose the ball, run back and get it. Don't just, because there's a lot of, especially kids, when they start playing football, they lose the ball and they just go, oh, I lost the ball, and they don't chase back. Elmas chased back, gave it to Politano, and Politano unleashes a left foot strike of his, which is top class, finding that bottom corner, beautiful goal, and that wraps it up for Napoli. And for me, I feel like everyone did great. I mean, these are my player ratings, guys. I hope you guys agree with these. Before I explain them, let me go back to the comments and see what you guys are saying. January is looking like a dark time for us, says T. Toleafoa. I need to remember that. Toleafoa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I'll call you TT. I'll call you TT, because T and then your last name with a T. I'll call you TT. So January is looking for like a dark time. Yeah, I mean, look at that spine of that team. You've got Koulibaly, Frank Anguissa, and then normally Osimhen as a striker. That whole spine is going to be missing for the African Cup. And then we've got important players like Unas, who is fundamental from coming off the bench. He's injured right now, but he comes off the bench and is fundamental for Napoli, and he's going to be away as well. Gulam potentially could be away, even though he's not even playing at the moment right now. So Tony Ejiro saying the media don't talk about Osimhen enough like they do other players. Tony, that's something that I want to cover in my video that I want to do about Osimhen and Nigeria in general, and it has to do with the comments that Koulibaly made about Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper, saying for African players to be noticed, we have to do more work, which is a very sad reality. And it's something that I want to ask my special guest if he thinks that's the case. And, I'd be interested to know from the chat, since you guys are, commenting from Nigeria, I want to know if that's your impression as well. Do you think that players coming from Africa need to do more to prove themselves? Or, is that just something is it because Osimhen's only exploded very recently? Dave FC saying, just look at Salah, for example. Yeah, Salah, for example, is an interesting case because right now he's getting the recognition, but when he was with Roma and when he was with Fiorentina, he was doing what he was doing at Liverpool and nobody cared. It's only when he became top scorer for Liverpool that people started being like, oh, Mo Salah. And even then, people are still questioning, do you prefer Luis Suarez at his peak or Mo Salah at his peak? And guys, I follow Liverpool a lot. It's the team I support in England. And guys, Suarez is a fantastic player, was fantastic for Liverpool. But what Salah is doing is something that Suarez did not do at Liverpool, which is that consistency of doing it for 4 years in a row and actually winning titles by doing it. So Suarez was good, but he didn't win Liverpool anything. Salah is doing it. He's reaching those levels. He's dragging that team to titles. They won the Champions League. They won the Premier League. So there's not even a question in my mind. I'll take Salah any day over Suarez. And yet, because maybe he's an African player, people are like not really gonna value him as much. Anyways, that's a whole different topic that has not much to do with this game, but it is a video that I do want to cover because honestly, there's so many African players playing for Napoli, and so I think we do need to talk about stuff like that. Why are players like Koulibaly, Anguissa, and Osimhen not talked about enough? So, it's something that has to do with Napoli as well, for sure. So that's a bit of a detour from the game. But yeah, interesting conversations, guys, about some very important topics. Koulibaly would be in the Ballon d'Or shortlist every year if he played for a team like Real Madrid or Chelsea. And would he be in the Ballon d'Or shortlist if he was white? That's all I say. Or if he was, if Koulibaly had a French passport or was white, would he be in the Ballon d'Or shortlist? Maybe. Maybe he would have a better chance. Unfortunately, we still have that problem in today's world. And I don't know. We actually don't know the answer because it's all hypothetical. What if he was white? But hey, there's players on that list that are definitely not as good as Koulibaly, and defenders on there that are not as good as Koulibaly. So I don't know. Difficult conversations. So Salah is saying Daka, Osimhen, Salah, Mane, Mahrez, and that's just an attack. African produces top talent. If KK was white, English, and played for Brighton, he'd be worth £130 million easy. I mean, I do think he is worth 130 million, but it's about if other people realize that as well. Dave is saying, let's not make it about race. Lol. Okay. I mean, look, it's not a topic that I think I'm qualified to speak about. It's a serious topic, but it's just interesting to think. It is a comment that our player Koulibaly did make, and so it's interesting to actually to talk about it. And these things are things that we do need to talk about, and we do need to inform people and make them realize some of these things. Tony Ejiro is saying, see the way they have treated Iheanacho, world-class talent. If he was English, he would be the next Messi. Yeah, luckily Iheanacho, I think he's at Leicester now, and he's at Leicester, and I think he's gonna have a bit more of a chance to progress than what he had at City. But Leicester have some incredible players up top, and we saw that when we played against them. So if Mbappe played for Cameroon, I believe he won't be compared to any good striker. Maybe he'll be known as just a pace merchant. Ooh, you see, potentially. It's one of those things we don't know because it's all hypothetical. But hey, potentially, right? Potentially. But anyways, maybe I need to do a separate video about that. How about that? I'll do a separate video. Guys, if you are enjoying this conversation, the analysis of the Napoli games and all that, go ahead and smash the like button. Give me some love, and I will try to give some love back to the Napoli community by donating to charity 1 cent for every like that I do get and for every new subscriber. So I know that there's a lot of you guys watching. Make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. So yeah, these are the player ratings. I gave Insigne an 8 for his amazing technique for the goal that he scored, and for the amazing assist for Osimhen. It was inch perfect, and Osimhen as well gets a 7.5 for his goal that he scored, for the I guess I kind of gave him some credit for the offside goal because I just think it was crazy what he tried to do. But I wanted to give Insigne a little more because Insigne was the one that unblocked the game. When it was 0-0, that's the most important goal to score. Then I think that Demme did really well. His first game back as a starter from injury, and he lasted 90 minutes and controlled the midfield. And when Fabian came on, I'm going to give him a 7 as well, because when Fabian came on, he showed the class that he has. He makes it look easy this year. Last year, he was yes and no, hit and miss. This year, every game, he's on there. And Politano, 7.5 for his assist. I mean, this guy came on in the 72nd minute. In 18 minutes, he did an assist and a goal. So you gotta reward that. Defense did okay. Spartak weren't too lethal. So 6.5 for everyone. I gave Juan Jesus a 6. I don't know why I gave him a 6. Why did I give him a 6? I think that's a mistake. I think I meant to give him a 6.5. And Elmas, 6.5, because I thought that in the first half especially, he was a bit, hidden. And I said it was not his fault because they defended really well. But he was just kind of out of position, not really feeling that number 10. Did a bit better in the second half when he went on the left a bit more. I do think he's better on the left and attacking, trying to go one-on-one against defenders when he's approaching the box. That's when he's really good. So I liked Elmas in the second half more. So like an average-ish display from him. Lozano 6.5 because he did do really well. But ultimately, he didn't get an assist. He didn't get a goal. So above average, 6.5, because my average is 6. But, nothing spectacular. He's not going to write home about this game. It's just going to go on to one of those many games of his. And I thought Petagna, the other guy, did okay. 6.5. I thought he was lively. Tried a few different things. He didn't score. But it's good to see him try to get on the score sheet. And Meret 6, I was nice to him. He didn't concede a goal, so I didn't want to give him below a 6. But that mistake that he did at the start was pretty bad. And this is how the group looks like, guys. So we are second now, tied on points with Leicester. And we play Legia in Poland in the next game. It is super important for us to go and win that so that we can overpass Legia and to keep a good goal difference against Leicester, because if we draw against Leicester, then us having this better goal difference overall could be the difference between finishing first and second, assuming that both Leicester and Napoli both beat Legia and Warsaw in the next games. So very important to have that going. And as I said, next game is us against Legia away from home, and Leicester host Spartak Moscow. Daniel Bowen is asking, if Osimhen continues like this and Napoli wins Scudetto, who honestly believes he would be top 5 Ballon d'Or nominee? If he isn't, then there's something wrong with the system. But I think a lot will have to do with how he does in Europe. I feel like for the Ballon d'Or, you need to perform in European competitions as well. It's not enough to win the league. Like, take Atletico Madrid, for example, yeah? They won the Spanish league. Or Bayern Munich, they won the German league. Realistically, how many players are in that Ballon d'Or list from those two teams? A few, of course, because they've got great players. But imagine how many more they would have if they also did really well in Europe, if they had a really good European run. So that's where I think also the Europa League is important. Giron is saying, non parli un pochino di italiano? Sì, parlo l'italiano, però faccio i video in inglese perché ci sono tutti questi tifosi del Napoli in Inghilterra, in giro per il mondo, in Australia, in America, e quindi voglio fare un po' di content anche per loro. Però sì, sono di Napoli, parlo italiano, ogni tanto magari vado a farò un video in italiano, però per ora sto parlando in inglese perché ho deciso di fare un canale in inglese così. So yeah, anyways, just answering Ju Ron's question about whether I'm ever gonna start speaking Italian on this channel. Well, to be honest, the whole point of this channel was to create a Napoli community for the world. I feel like there's so many Napoli fans. There's so many Italian like fans of Napoli in Italy or that speak Italian that have such great content to go to. They've got, like, if you live in Naples, for example, you've got Radio Kiss Kiss, Radio Marte, La Gazzetta dello Sport, Corriere dello Sport, Tutto Napoli, Gia7 on YouTube, Caffè Napoli 1926 on YouTube. So many great content, so many great different things for content that it's crazy. So yeah, I felt like we needed something in English. If anything, I might start doing something in Spanish and French. So veremos. Pero por ahora en inglés. So let's see how that goes. Maybe, if I decide to go full time on YouTube, then I might just start doing Napoli talk in 4 different languages. We'll see. I do want to learn Portuguese at some point as well, so maybe potentially 5. Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's go back to Napoli and the next games. So we've got 3 in a row now in Serie A. So let's forget about the Europa League for now. We've got Roma, Bologna, and Salernitana. Now, Roma lost 6-1 in their Conference League game against the Norwegian team. But to be fair to them, guys, they played against a team that is literally in the North Pole. If you take a look at where that team is based, it is the North Pole. In late October, they were freezing their balls off playing there. So honestly, like, can you blame them for losing 6-1? Like, imagine going from Rome to there, and maybe 6-1 is a bit much, but I can imagine that had to do it. That had something to do with it. EJY is as well with a second donation. You guys are too kind to me. I honestly don't deserve that. As an Italian born and raised in America who took Spanish all throughout school, I'll follow you until the end. All right, that's it. Official. Napoli Talk gonna go and do this in different languages for all my boys out there. But yeah, I mean, so many people have stories like that. I'm Italian, family's Italian, lived in Italy the start of my life, and then I moved around to different countries in the world. I lived a bit in Asia, I lived in France, I lived a bit in Spain, I lived, now I'm in the UK. And I just thought, there's so many other Napoli fans around the world that don't have access to Napoli content, to speak about Napoli, to have a community about Napoli. So let's do something about that. And that's why I'm doing it in English rather than in Italian. So yeah. So Roma, that's a tough game. Because they've just lost against Juve. They got battered against the Norwegian team, and you can expect them to be mad about it. They're gonna go and they're gonna give that everything to make up for the past week. So don't think that they're like a dead horse. They're not. They are. That's one of the toughest games of the year. Playing against Roma after they got absolutely annihilated by some random team. That is a tough game to go and play. So that's going to be crazy. So yeah, I'm scared about that game. I'm scared because they're out for blood. Notice how good we do when Adiele has his mouth shut, says Michael Simi. Yeah, I mean Adiele, I love the guy. I mean he had a moment on Twitter a few weeks ago where he just started commenting. So Adiele is our president, De Laurentiis. He just started commenting on like random girls' posts saying you're beautiful and stuff like that. And I was like, what is going on with this guy? But that didn't stop Napoli from getting points. So, but yeah, it's good that he's not getting too involved. Let the players do the talking on the field. there's no need to say anything. Let's keep it going, you know. Tony is saying score a tap in on the like button. Nice, yeah. That's a nice way to put it. So yeah, guys, tap that like button, you know. TT is saying this is a reach, but I feel like Mourinho is trying to play mind games with us because there ain't no way. That's classic Mourinho. Yeah. And the way he said his press conference, he said that his B team sucks pretty much. So you can imagine that those players, if some of them play against Napoli, are gonna have a point to prove. So that's gonna be interesting. But honestly, like looking at this list, I mean, I shouldn't say it, but I mean, you would expect Napoli to do quite well. I think it's after Verona that we start playing the really tough teams. You start getting Lazio, you start getting Inter, Milan, Atalanta, you know, in end of November. Throughout, you know, between November and January, that's when Napoli really have the tough games. But yeah, Roma is tough. Roma is tough. Speaking of Spalletti and press conferences and all that fun stuff, we should probably take a look at his press conference and see what he's had to say about this game and also what he might say about Roma because, as you know, he's an ex-Roma coach. So, SJ is asking, hi Dom, are you worried about Napoli being in the Europa League once Osimhen, Koulibaly and Anguissa go to Akon? I hope Mertens gets more game time and starts scoring as I'm not a big fan of Petagna. If Napoli finish first in the group, then we don't have any games during that period. I think until end of February or start of March is when we would have the next Europa League game. If we finish second, then we might have a game in February, early February, and we might not have the AFCON players. So, who said Coolie Daddy? Oh, SJ's Coolie. Oh man, I love that. I'm gonna start calling him Coolie Daddy. Okay. So let's see what Spalletti's had to say. Wow, that's a short interview that he had. Is that really it? Is that all he said? Okay. So it's a short interview. He said, today we did a almost perfect game, organized and with the right approach. Everyone that came on the field did very well, and I'm very satisfied with the group. These are very important signals for a coach. And then they ask him, what response did you get from, or what feeling or response did you get from people such as Demme and Mertens that have come back from injury? And he's saying, we have to congratulate and compliment these players because they made themselves ready and they contributed to this victory and to this performance. They didn't allow us to feel they didn't make us miss the players that weren't there for today's game that were playing the past game. So he's saying they basically came into the team and fit like a glove, is what he's trying to say. And now they ask him, so now we think about Roma and the you know, title, or not title, but we think about the league for the next few games, and Roma have lost heavily against that team in Norway. And he's saying, look, I'm not worried about the result at Roma. There are things that can happen. For me, what worries me is the strength of the team and the coach that we are going to find. Obviously, speaking about Mourinho. The good performance today allows us to approach that game with a bit more tranquility. And we will see what happens in that game. And that's everything that Spalletti said in the press conference, but then he had a separate interview with DAZN, and he's saying, look, Roma are a good team up top. They've got a very good coach, and it's an ambitious club. We have to give it everything if we want to, you know, do well in that game. And yeah, so They also asked him about Napoli playing with a three-man defense today at some point. I mean, we had Jesus. So here's the thing: we had Jesus when Manolas came off for injury. He didn't bring on a defender. He brought on Politano, which is why I gave actually Spalletti an 8. I thought that was a great move, and it's not something that I forgot to talk about this. But when Manolas came off, we then had a back three because we didn't bring in Rahman until the very end. We brought on Politano for Manolas, so very good stuff by Spalletti. Read the game very well, and they said, when we have a lot of different players that we can use, then it makes it easy for us to do these kind of things. It can also create a bit of a disturbance to the other team because they start losing the spaces that they had with the different players. So obviously, if you play, with 3 at the back, and before you're playing with 4, everything moves, and the opposition is a bit, confused at that point as to like who they have to mark, what positions on the field they have to take up. So he's saying it's a very normal thing to do in football, and our players did that extremely well. He also said, Legia closed himself really well and gave us some problems in ripartenza, which means in counterattacks. And we had a lot of patience to go and find the right moment to attack them. I mean, this is something that Spalletti is talking about a lot. Patience, hitting people at the right time. So, yeah, it seems like they're doing a lot of work on that aspect. And he's saying, it's very difficult to have done better. 3-0 is an important result, and we stayed organized, and we have players that are giving everything. We've got Elmas, who is always available to put in 100% effort, and Politano as well. When players have this attitude, it's very easy to do things well. And they ask him, what's the biggest strength of this group? And he's saying the intelligence of the players. We always get the result playing as a team and not as individuals. They ask him if Napoli can win the Europa League, and he's saying, look, first we got to pass the group, and then there's other games that are pretty tough. He's basically avoided answering that question. And then they ask him about Osimhen, and he's saying, look, Osimhen is someone that puts in a shift every time, and the players around him are starting to learn how he plays as well. So we are, we've got a good player, and he likes to gallop on the field, but slowly he's also finding out different ways to be dangerous. He's a great professional and a very, very nice lad. So, good stuff from Spalletti. So, I think that covers everything, guys. We had a long talk, an hour and 15 minutes. I think I'm gonna wrap it up quite soon. I'm just gonna read out a few more comments. So let's see. EJ Wise is saying, I started soccer since all my friends were into it, and now football has become basically my life. Cleto is saying he bought FIFA 21. I didn't buy FIFA 21. So I'm not a big gamer. I honestly don't really have a lot of. So my day is basically wake up at 7, work from 8 to 6, gym from 6 to 7:30. Groceries, cook, eat, and then at night I study. And then when it's the nights that I don't study, or do some other stuff, then I'm on Napoli Talk. So I have no time to game. I wish I did. When I was younger, I used to. But Yeah. I tried PES, which is like now eFootball. I did download it. I tried it for like one afternoon. I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's play a bit. I can spare some time, and it sucks. PES or eFootball sucks. Like it is like I was playing Argentina with against Portugal, and it honestly like felt like two third division teams playing against each other. It was so bad. It was so bad. So hopefully FIFA 21's better, but yeah, I haven't got FIFA 21, so I can't do pro clubs. I can't do it. But yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice to at some point do something like that. Oh, T Toleo I need to get this right. T Toleafoa with the 899 NZ. And how I don't know the currency. Hold Thank you for your donation, man. That's super kind of you. I don't know, is that Nigerian let me I need to Google this. Nigerian currency. What's the name? Nigerian Naira. Naira. Okay. Thank you for the 899 Naira. Or is that New Zealand? Is that New Zealand? Which is that New Zealand? Ah, it's New Zealand. You're in New Zealand. So New Zealand dollars. So you're okay. So see, I'm trying to get to know everyone on this channel. So you're a Nigerian living in New Zealand. That's cool, man. That's awesome. That's man, I don't know. I don't know all the currencies, man. But yeah, thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. I think you're a relatively new subscriber, so welcome aboard, and welcome to everyone that has probably found me very recently. There's been a big jump in subscribers over the last 2 weeks. I think a bit because of Osimhen doing so well, and a bit because of Rabona TV hosting me on his channel. So yeah, glad to have you guys, and glad to have you guys supporting the channel, guys. It's pretty awesome. I'm starting to really, really, really get to know everyone, and this community we're building is pretty dope. So EJ Weiss, man, stop donating, stop, man. Thank you so much, man. I gotta head out, Dom. Just wanted to thank you again for giving an English speaker like me this content. Don't push yourself too hard, man. Thank you so much for your donation, and it's my pleasure. I have fun doing this. I do sometimes push myself a bit hard, but I took a bit of a break during the summer. As you guys know, I didn't really post any videos in the summer, and I do get my 6 hours of sleep a day, so it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, man, you gotta hustle. I hope everyone probably everyone watching this is like in their 20s, 30s, some early 40s, late teens. We're all in that age, man. And I think we talk about football, but we also think should be talking about other things as well every once in a while. And I think having a grind mindset where you're just like working. You don't want to push yourself too hard, but guys, like if you need some motivation or some push, I'm gonna tell you to do it. Just do that thing. If you gotta study, go and study. If you gotta work, go and work. If you gotta build your side business, go and build your side business. Do that stuff, because it's nice. It's nice when you do something that adds a bit of value. I tried doing it with stuff like Napoli Talk, and it's cool. It's hard work, but it's cool. It's cool. Anyways, yeah. You are the bridge between us and Napoli. I can't live without you. Jeez, that's nice words. But I can't live without you. It's so intense, man. I hope yeah, I mean, I hope if I miss a game, like nothing too bad's gonna happen. I hope you like don't stop breathing or something. Anyways, Daniel Lafontaine, salut, moi aussi, les vous sur le show d'Adrian. So talking about seeing me on Adrian's Rabona TV show. You guys can speak any language you want, and I'll understand it. Yeah, Cleto saying we're getting romantic here. I just want the guys that follow me to do well. We obviously just talk about football, but gotta support each other. Gotta make sure we're all leveling up. So yeah. Anyways. So I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Salut, but I'm not French. It's just my last name. Haha, La Fontaine. So yeah. Anyways, guys, good chat today. Talked about different things. We have a game against Roma on Sunday. Puro Calabrese. I'm half from Calabria. My dad is from Reggio Calabria, so yeah, I'm half Napoli, half Reggio. So yeah, interesting mix. So yeah, man. I mean, keep spitting different languages and places around the world, then I'll have some sort of connection to it. So yeah. Anyways, that is everything. I'm gonna have to go. Don't want to leave without you, says Tony. No, man, I gotta go. It's 11:40 where I am, and I gotta wake up at 7 tomorrow. So I'm gonna go. Gangsta mix, says Daniel. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm a bounce. Hope you guys have a fantastic night, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre.